She was only 20, riding her bike home on a quiet summer evening. The road was familiar. Her boyfriend had just said goodbye, but minutes later, Sierah Joughin was gone. No goodbye, no call, no trace. Her bike was found in a cornfield. Her sunglasses were left behind. What could have happened to a girl just minutes from home? And who would do something like this? As police searched and her family begged for answers, the truth began to surface, and it was worse than anyone feared. A convicted kidnapper living nearby, a hidden room built for torture, a plan years in the making. How did a peaceful ride turn into a horror story? And how many more lives could have been at risk if this monster wasn't caught? Who was Sierah Joughin? Sierah Joughin was a 20-year-old college student from Metamora, Ohio. She was studying human resource management at the University of Toledo and was known for her bright smile, warm personality, and strong work ethic. Sierah loved spending time with her family, her longtime boyfriend, and her friends. She had big dreams and a promising future ahead. Her family described her as kind-hearted, determined, and full of life. She enjoyed fitness, was passionate about school, and had a close bond with her boyfriend, Josh. Her loved ones often said she was the type of person who lit up every room she walked into. Sierah's life was filled with hope and potential, but on July 19, 2016, everything changed. A short bike ride home from her boyfriend's house would become her last journey, and what followed would haunt her community forever. The day she disappeared. It was a quiet summer evening on July 19, 2016. Sierah Joughin had just spent time with her boyfriend Josh at his home in Fulton County, Ohio. Around 6:45 p.m., she said goodbye, got on her bike, and started riding home a short and familiar route she had taken many times before. The sun was still up, the road was calm, and nothing seemed unusual. She was expected home soon, but something stopped her from ever arriving. As time passed, her family grew worried. Texts went unanswered, calls rang with no reply. Minutes turned to hours, and the panic began to build. This wasn't like Sierah. She was responsible, reliable, and always let her family know where she was. Fearing the worst, her family contacted local authorities. That same night, police launched a full search effort across the area, hoping she had just gotten lost or had a flat tire. But what they found told a different story. Her purple bicycle was discovered lying in a cornfield near County Road 6. Her sunglasses were nearby. There were no footprints leading away, no phone, no sign of Sierah herself. The scene looked sudden, like someone had snatched her in an instant. And from that moment on, the peaceful town of Metamora would never be the same again. The massive search and community response. The search for Sierah grew rapidly. Hundreds of volunteers joined law enforcement in combing through fields, roadsides, and wooded areas. Flyers were posted, social media campaigns were launched, and the entire community held on to hope. Local authorities, the FBI and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation worked together, using dogs and drones. Candlelight vigils were held, prayers were offered, and the Joughin family stayed strong through the nightmare. But after 3 agonizing days, the search came to a devastating end. On July 22nd, Sierah's body was discovered buried in a shallow grave in a cornfield, just a few miles from where her bike had been found. She had been abducted, held captive, and murdered. The arrest of James Worley. The investigation quickly zeroed in on a suspect, 57-year-old James Worley. He had been seen acting suspiciously near the area, and tire tracks near the crime scene matched his vehicle. Authorities obtained a search warrant for his property, and what they found was horrifying. In his barn, investigators discovered a hidden room equipped with handcuffs, restraints, and a freezer filled with women's clothing and other disturbing items. Worley had prepared a space to hold a woman captive. He even kept detailed logs and maps, indicating this was not a random crime. Worley had a dark past. In 1990, he had been convicted of abducting and attacking a woman in eerily similar circumstances. He had knocked her off her bike, bound her, and tried to kidnap her. Though he served a short prison sentence, he was later released. Now, he had struck again with fatal consequences. How the crime unfolded. According to prosecutors, James Worley had been stalking the rural roads of Fulton County, looking for a victim. He spotted Sierah biking alone and saw an opportunity. He rammed her with his vehicle, abducted her, and took her to his property. There, he restrained her in a secret room inside his barn, where he had clearly planned to keep a victim for a prolonged time. But something went wrong and Sierah fought back. Evidence showed that she struggled fiercely, which may have led Worley to kill her sooner than he intended. Her cause of death was asphyxiation. After murdering her, Worley buried her body in a shallow grave in a cornfield and tried to cover his tracks. But his previous conviction, combined with physical evidence, made it easy for investigators to build a strong case. Trial and sentencing of James Worley. After investigators uncovered disturbing evidence tying James Worley to Sierah Joughin's murder, he was arrested and charged with aggravated murder, kidnapping, abduction, and more. His trial began in early 2018, drawing intense attention from the media and the public. Prosecutors laid out a chilling timeline linking Worley's past kidnapping conviction to this new crime. They presented photos of the hidden barn room, maps, handcuffs, and clothing that belonged to Sierah. Forensic evidence tied it all together, creating a picture too horrific to ignore. Throughout the trial, James Worley showed no signs of guilt. He sat stone-faced in court as the evidence piled up. His defense team tried to argue that the case was based on assumptions, that there was no direct proof of murder, but the jury saw through the lies. The planning, the tools, the hidden bunker, it was all too much to dismiss. After 4 long weeks in court, the verdict was clear, guilty on every count. On March 28, 2018, James Worley was sentenced to death. He was transferred to death row at Chillicothe Correctional Institution in Ohio, where he awaits execution. For Sierah's family, the verdict brought a small sense of justice, but it couldn't erase the pain. No punishment could ever bring Sierah back, but the sentence ensured that the man who stole her life would never hurt anyone again. Her family's strength in court became a symbol of courage for so many others fighting for justice. The legacy of Sierah Joughin. In the aftermath of Sierah's murder, her family turned their grief into action. They worked tirelessly to ensure no other family would have to suffer the way they did. With support from the community and lawmakers, they helped pass Sierah's Law in Ohio. Sierah's Law created a violent offender registry, similar to sex offender registries, that tracks individuals convicted of violent crimes. This law allows law enforcement and communities to stay informed about dangerous individuals living nearby. The law passed in 2018 and became a model for other states considering similar legislation. Sierah's legacy now includes protecting others and sparking real, meaningful change in the justice system. The importance of prevention and awareness. Sierah's case highlighted how predators can hide in plain sight and how prior offenses must be taken seriously. Worley had been convicted before, and yet he was still able to live freely and plan another attack. Advocates argue that the criminal justice system must improve monitoring of repeat offenders. Community awareness, early intervention, and improved law enforcement tools are essential in preventing tragedies like Sierah's. Her story also empowered many to speak up about safety, women's rights, and the importance of self-defense education. Out of tragedy, a movement for change was born. Sierah Joughin was a bright, beautiful young woman whose life was stolen by a monster hiding among us. Her final moments were filled with terror, but her legacy is one of strength, justice, and hope. Her story is not just about the crime, it's about the power of a family who refused to stay silent. It's about a community that came together, and it's about the laws that were changed in her name.